Oh my god. This was so frustrating. I don't even want to stream anymore. I will literally do like a 5-minute thing, if not 3-minute thing. Oh my god. OBS is so garbage when it comes to like doing audio stuff. And I know there's the ASIO plugin for Windows, but I am currently on Mac, which should handle this type of streaming thing relatively well, because I'm not gaming or anything, and although I am using CPU and encoding on CPU at the same time, it should be okay. Only using like 10% CPU right now in OBS, and similarly, yeah, well actually it's probably close to like 20 in Logic, but that's it. It's very much never gonna go higher than that. Everything is already processed to all hell. A few delays or reverbs are not gonna change that. Yeah, so I should be live simultaneously on Kick and YouTube right now. But I don't have anything open. Like what you see, like this is it. This is all I see right now. I have Logic here and I have OBS here. Nothing else is open. Just F it. I'm absolutely not in the mood. So, my main audio card has only 4 analog inputs, and it has 2 digital inputs, SPDIF inputs. And I bought a like $30 M-Audio, like I don't know, 20-year-old small M-Audio audio card, because specifically it had SPDIF outputs, so I could use that card as the extension of my main one, so that I don't have to have like 2 cards connected simultaneously, because technically you could do it, but especially with older, cheaper cards, like you don't know if the clock will work properly between them. Like the M-Audio card that I bought, for example, just cannot be a slave. It just does not know how to be a slave. The manual hints, though, that it can be a slave if you like actively send an audio channel, like an audio signal to it through SPDIF, it gets clock with it somehow. I'm not that experienced with SPDIF. I'm a pretty analog guy. I never recorded, like SPDIF is used for like maybe some DJ equipment, but usually not even that. It's usually used to hook up like, you know, home cinemas and stuff like that. I'm not super experienced with that. You know, I'm more of a, you know, music production and audio production type of dude. So I haven't dealt with that a lot, but yeah, essentially, like, you could clock things together. You could sync 2 cards using SPDIF, but on Mac, you don't even need to do that because Aggregate Device can, you know, handle the syncing for you. So, still, you have to have 2 cards connected, though, you know, and, like, I don't know. So, like, like, Logic cannot do that, right? So, Logic would have to use with Aggregate Device, and then, like, I don't know, I would rather just use my card that already has all the inputs. It just, I need access to the SPDIF ones, but I can only get them through another card or some sort of extension, which would essentially just be another card. And that's what I did. I bought myself, yeah, $30 audio card. So first of all, it could only output at 44.1 kilohertz, and obviously everyone's using 48 kilohertz sample rate, but by now, so I'm back to 44.1. Hopefully it doesn't cause any desync issues. Second, the card can only be a master, so that's kind of funny. I'm currently, the clock of my proper fucking audio interface that runs the whole thing is currently being controlled by a standalone preamp, essentially, that is a Audio Fast Track Pro. Because Fast Track cannot be a slave, it can only be a master. So my main audio interface is currently a slave to an external one that's not even connected to a computer. So I don't know, that could probably cause slight desync. Well, hopefully just like slight offset, not a desync that gets worse over time. because my camera is actually my phone connected by Wi-Fi, so there's already like half a second fucking delay between what I do and whatnot. So initially, before I started streaming, the way before I got the idea for streaming, the way I was recording all of this, I was literally just running a multi-output device in Logic that would output to Soundflower simultaneously and with my main card. So in OBS, I would just pick the Soundflower and boom, I get all the monitoring from Logic. Obviously software monitoring, right? Because I have effects and stuff like that. Obviously software monitoring. How else would I get signal from Logic to OBS? But nonetheless, this is pretty straightforward situation. I actually enjoyed using it a lot because it was very stable. It was, until I started using, as the moment I started using Soundflower, it became stable. Originally, of course, I was using Black Hole because Black Hole is supposed to be like the more modern alternative to Soundflower. For some reason, Soundflower works for me with no problem still, so I don't know. But a lot of people report that Soundflower is basically dead and doesn't work. I don't know, it does work for me. But yeah, this is a new Mac. Well, the Mac itself is not new, but it was new to me like for 2 years ago. And at one point I did install Black Hole. And unfortunately, Black Hole, for some reason, every time I like stop using it, or maybe every time I reboot the Mac, I don't reboot it that often, I don't know. For some reason, Black Hole has its virtual audio outputs. Just like Soundflower, like in audio, MIDI audio setup, you can like one by one change the sliders of the virtual ports, connectors, right? And outputs and inputs. And there is one more slider for just like master, like the master volume slider for Black Hole. And so all the individual ones are actually non-modifiable. They do exist because channels exist, so setup shows you those. But there's also the master one, and the master one is adjustable. In Sunflower, both master and individual ones are adjustable. In Black Hole, only the master one is adjustable. For some reason, the master one kept resetting itself to 0. By default, it's at 0, which is annoying. And also, it keeps resetting itself to 0, like every time. Like, I don't know, I sneeze or something, or I close OBS or something, or I close Logic. It keeps resetting itself to 0. So every time I would close this whole setup and go to sleep, I'd come back the next day and I have no audio in OBS. What is happening? I had to open audio setup every time and just unmute Black Hole. Black Hole just kept fucking muting itself. It was rather annoying. But yeah, I just switched to Sunflower because it still works and Sunflower doesn't have this problem. Is it Sunflower? Soundflower. So yeah, anyway, fun fucking times. Fun times. This is life now. But yeah, I had to tear down that entire setup and make a virtual aggregate device and send audio through auxiliary sends to a separate output of one instance of Soundflower, with the main output still being like main stereo out, so I could monitor it from Logic, not from OBS, because from OBS it would like add an extra second of delay essentially. And although I'm working with like arpeggiators and whatnot here, I still, don't want a crap ton of delay when I, like monitor like real-time whatever parameters, right? I don't know why. Like, I still kind of like to know what's happening more or less without much delay. I mean, it's way too delayed right now anyway to do anything in real time in terms of playing. But when adjusting parameters and stuff like that, it's modulating. I still wouldn't really want there to be 300, millisecond. No, 300 milliseconds actually wouldn't really be that bad. Like it's probably about a second in Logic right now. Sorry, in OBS right now. In Logic, it's even with the, I don't know, even with a buffer of like 1,000, like, 1024 samples, it's not that bad. It's only about 50, maybe 60-ish millisecond. Round trip delay. So had to rebuild essentially my whole virtual environment. And microphone I had to send to a whole other virtual card, a second instance of Sunflower, because of course, OBS doesn't recognize individual channels, so each device in OBS is only as good as its first two inputs. On Windows with the ASIO plugin, it's supposed to be different, but I never used that stuff. So only one stereo input per device OBS recognizes natively, which is rather embarrassing. Like, I wonder when they're gonna fix it. Maybe they have fixed it. Obviously, I'm not running the latest version of OBS. Mine is a few years old, but because I would need to update, my system, and it's an older Mac. I don't want to update it. But rather embarrassing. I feel like, even for even for a 5-year-old version of OBS, although mine isn't 5 years old, but even for a 5-year-old version of OBS, just the way it works with audio is just embarrassing. Originally, I thought, so here, like, this is the bug that caused the whole fucking thing. So the audio was being delivered from Logic to OBS through Black Hole, right? And like real-time monitoring. So I decided that, well, I'm just gonna add like a microphone audio source, in OBS, taking the first input of my main card, and that would be my microphone, and then I will delete the second, like the right channel out of there, right, with the plugin, with like audio plugin, collapse it to mono, and boom. Actually, also collapse it to mono, not by OBS, but with the plugin again. And that I did, and everything worked splendidly. And today I boot the whole thing up, and I discovered that oh my god. So for some reason, OBS mixes in the SPDIF input of my device, despite the fact that the device is routed properly. Like, the SPDIF output and input are actually like the last two inputs on my device. So it's like outputs 5 and 6 and inputs 5 and 6. It's separate channels, okay? Separate channels. OBS mixes those digital in channels for some reason into like basic in an like input 1 and 2. I have no idea why OBS decided to do that, who told it to do that. Maybe it does recognize that those two inputs are digital, and so it kind of like doubles it up as digital and analog, so that both can be used at the same time, ? Or both can be used if, like, all I have is like the digital device, so OBS could use that. So that's pretty cool that OBS can do that, but I don't need it to do that, though. Those inputs are being used by something else for something completely different. Like, just take your analog, inputs and use them. Like, what the hell? There should be at least a setting for that. So it's nice from OBS to recognize that those inputs are digital, and maybe somebody is trying to use them. So me as OBS, let me actually allow the person to do that. But why would you do that for those specific channels, but not any other, channels for multi-input audio devices? It's so stupid. Well, anyway. it's nice that OBS does that, but you know, I didn't ask for it to do that, and it was very unwelcome. And also, like, my audio device, you know, treats those channels as inputs 5 and 6, the last two ones. It doesn't like somehow combine those inputs with the 1 and 2 inputs, the analog ones. It doesn't mix them together for anything. I don't know why OBS decided to do that. So I realized that, well, fuck, I cannot use like a microphone then, obviously, because these two devices actually are connected through the secondary extension audio device. So this was my left, this was my right. Or sorry, this was my right, this was my left. This was my left, this was my right. In addition to my microphone being left. While in reality, all that was supposed to happen, my microphone being left, and then I would cut the right channel off, you know, which was one of the synths, I suppose. And yeah, I could and collapse it to mono. And I did that yesterday, but without testing it with these synths, and all of a sudden these synths appear in my voice channel. Like, what the fuck? So yeah, I just wasted, well, at least 2 hours. At least 2 hours doing this, and I don't even know if I feel like streaming anymore. Last night I could potentially stream, but I was screwing around with this stuff for, well, until rather late, and then I was just chilling. And usually I wouldn't really stream. I wouldn't really start streaming like after midnight. If I start streaming before midnight, I could go for, you know, as long as needed, but I wouldn't typically start late. What the hell is this noise specifically? What am I hearing? Oh, it's probably the plugin. Yeah. Why does it add that noise? Is it because of the age thing? Yeah. Yeah, of course. Of course it, yeah, it just literally randomly like shits in noise into the channel. Because it's trying to sound retro and cheap. Okay, well, anyway. This was interesting. I had to create a whole new setup, and it's today and tomorrow are the last 2 days of me having this thing. It's from the library, and I think somebody put an order in for this one after me, so I won't be able to extend it. So yeah, I'm gonna go take a break. I don't know, eat something or something, and potentially come back to do some beeps and boops. Did the whole thing did it save? If it's saved. Oh my god, it's saved. I wish I had more inputs and outputs, because obviously Volca outputs stereo signal, and I don't know if it does like stereo separation on detune. It might. Doesn't sound super in tune, actually. I wonder if it's just a bit cold or something. I wonder why it doesn't sound in tune. I suppose it doesn't sound in tune because I made it that way. Oops. Yeah. And maybe it was a bit cold, actually. Is it sounds better now, right? Or am I just crazy? I mean, I know it goes through phases of being detuned-ish, but when it comes back to being like undetuned, right? I think it's in tune, right? It's strange. I think it was just probably cold a little bit. I think I seem to remember Volca being Volca Keys specifically. My old one, the one I sold, was also taking a few minutes to warm up, because it is a bit chilly in here. Okay, well, so this is what I created yesterday before just collapsing. Actually, I had a completely different drum pattern, but I forgot to save it. Well, I didn't forget to save it. Like, I made a mistake. I did something to this thing that got rid of the pattern. I didn't think it would switch the whole thing. I turned off the fucking Vegas mode on this thing. The Drum Brute, if you don't use it for something like 5 minutes, goes into the light show mode, like a demo mode. So I turned that thing off, and it reset, it like rebooted the Drum Brute, and I lost the pattern that I had. So yeah, this is it. Super fun times. I wonder if no, this is just for output anyway. Okay, well, anyway. So, I may be back. I probably will be. And I'll have like chat windows and stuff like that. Okay, I'm gonna go see if I was even live in the first place. And I hate to do this whole DSP thing of like streaming for 5 minutes and then, oh guys, I have to take a break, and then take a break for 3 hours and then come back and do another like 5 minutes of streaming. It kind of sounds stupid to me. I don't know. I'm an old fag. I feel like if you're streaming, just, you know, like give one big show and then go do your thing. But yeah, I mean, nothing but love for DSP, of course, but I don't quite understand his schedule. His schedule is not one of a streamer. Okay.